Expanded healthcare access is now on the way to Pender County. Novant Health and Black River Health Services announced a new expansion that'll bring more medical care providers to rural areas. It's a collaboration with a program that Novant launched. The program will allow medical residents to work in rural areas like the Black River Health Services Clinic in Burgaw. Novant says that the program was created to help address the shortage of primary care physicians in rural areas. The first round of residents have already gotten started providing hands-on care, and over the next 3 years they will be mentored by local clinicians. One of the doctors involved says that where doctors train is where they're most likely to stay. This program helps ensure that high-quality, compassionate care is accessible not just to cities but also in small towns and rural areas.